Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Kabir Considers. In this video, I'm going to react to the top 4 teens reacting to life sentences. Man, your life, I mean, if you're a teenager and you're let me calm down. You get given a life sentence, your life is pretty much over. You know, even in the event that you get let out, you know, halfway through, let's say, on parole, but that's often not the case. You're going to have served at least 20 years. You know, you've got a hell of a felony on your record. Your life is just never going to be the same. And why did you put yourself in a situation? Why did you do this? Like, there must be so much regret. This video, I'm sure it's going to be, I personally love watching these videos. So yeah, it's going to be fun. Let's do it.
Sometimes age is not a good judge of what horrible deeds a person can commit. Let's see some of the youngest and most dangerous teens in court following their unspeakable crimes. Number 4. 4 teen culprits. 3 teens charged in the 2017 rock-throwing death of Kenneth A. White have been sentenced and will serve 1 year of probation. Mark A. Sikelski, 19, Trevor A. Gray, 18, and McCaden M. Payne, 19, were sentenced by Genesee County Circuit Court Judge Duncan Beagle. Teresa Simpson didn't hold back her emotions after hearing the first sentence in what has been a long journey toward justice for her son. Kenneth A. White, 32, of Mount Morris, died October 18, 2017, after a rock came through the windshield of the vehicle he was riding in on southbound Interstate 75 in Vienna Township.
God.
Kyle Anger, 19, the lone teen in the case tried as an adult, was sentenced by Genesee Circuit Judge Joseph J. Farah to serve 30.
So they dropped the rock from a bridge, I'm guessing. Why onto a highway? Why?
39 months to 20 years in prison, with credit for time served of 740 days, just over 2 years. A young man was taken from a family, a loving, caring family, and he was a loving, caring, compassionate person, and now his son has to grow up. His daughter has to grow up without him, said Simpson. Where is the fairness here? 39 months for murder. This is a great injustice. This is a slap in my face. This is a slap in my son's face. In rendering his sentence, Farah said he had to work within manslaughter guidelines in making his ruling as part of a sentencing proposal. He noted those guidelines did not allow for a life sentence. There was nothing unintentional about this, he said about the guidelines. The intention was to throw the rocks down and hit the cars. In fact, it was a game. Ping, I think. There would be a hollering out of ping when there was a reverberation of sound between the rock and the metal of the car. Edward Farrell, Anger's attorney, argued in court that his client was not the leader of the group, but was being used by the other suspects in the case and seeking acceptance.
Shut up. You're being used. Get out of there. Own up to what you did.
Displayed some of the Snapchat messages kept by Anger's family of conversations between the teens. He said the other suspects were trying to plan their alibi and what they're going to do moving forward, learning Mr. White had unfortunately been killed by the conduct. Farrell said Anger had no prior record, was the first suspect to turn himself in, suffers from a mental health issue, and was being used by the others for his vehicle. Let's watch the shocking moments.
The rocks and other items were gathered from other locations, loaded in a truck, and then driven to overpasses to throw them over. There wasn't one event, nor was it done at a single location. Also thrown at other times at other locations. Tire irons, a shopping cart, 51
A shopping
times.
cart.
The letters LOL, LMAO, or HaHa appear in the messages.
You
Lay
sick
low for a
fucks.
while and everything will be fine.
Oh,
Only way you get in
my
trouble
God.
is if a, and I won't say the word, or else we're going to the slammer. The proposal for juvenile sentencing is rejected.
Number 3. Kayandria Cook. A teenage carjacker whose courtroom meltdown went viral after she was jailed for 20 years last June has been resentenced to serve 11 years behind bars. Kayandria Cook, whose mother could be heard sobbing, "Oh,
Yeah, I think I remember this case. I think I've seen her before somewhere.
Jesus," repeatedly in the dramatic video, had her sentence cut after withdrawing the original no contest plea that landed her a hefty sentence. She did so after supplying an audio recording of her previous attorney telling her she was likely only to get probation and no jail time if she admitted the March 2017 offense. According to news sources, Kayandria was much calmer during this new court appearance, saying, "I apologize for my actions to the victim's family and victims." Cook's apparent contrition was commended by Judge Matthew Foxman, who said, "I think you've got good in you and I think you've got potential. Don't lose sight of that." But Judge Foxman also highlighted the seriousness of the crime, which saw Cook use a dating app to lure victim Emmanuel Purcell to South Daytona. Once he arrived, she and boyfriend Kendrick Bass attempted to steal the car before Bass shot Purcell, leaving him seriously injured. They then successfully carjacked a second victim, with Judge Foxman saying, "I consider it a miracle that this young man is alive. The other thing is that after it happened, you did it again. That's the one thing that I couldn't get over, really. That knowing how dangerous and deadly it could be, you did basically the same thing again. That was always a difficult part for me." Cook was jailed after re-entering a no-contest plea to principal carjacking with a deadly weapon, principal to attempted carjacking with a deadly weapon, and principal to aggravated battery with a deadly weapon. She also faces 20 years probation to run concurrent and is assisting cops in the case against her boyfriend Bass, who is now facing his own charges. The video of Kayandria's meltdown.
Why didn't you think about this before you agreed to it? Like, because you were in love? Because you were in love, you thought, yeah, let me go and commit multiple felonies. I swear, some people are really dumb. Like, you gotta use your brain sometimes.
Saw her wailing to hold her mom one last time before jailed, only for courtroom guards to take her into immediate custody. Let's watch her courtroom meltdown.
All right, come on up, Miss Cook. You get to say the final words.
My boyfriend and his friends get me to do this. I didn't even know what was going on. I just want to say I asked them for forgiveness for should I get a chance, and I keep my mama proud.
Sentence you to 20 years in state prison.
20. Yeah, so this is the first sentence,
Concurrence
right?
to the first 2 counts. All fines and costs.
Imagine that, thinking you're going to prison for 2 decades.
Number 2. Dante Wright. It was a shocking scene in a Washtenaw County courtroom. The teen who admitted to murdering Ann Arbor 18-year-old Jordan Klee sat smiling and nearly laughing as his victim's family members read impact statements before the court.
Evil fuck.
"I've lost my child, my son, my baby, my friend. More than that, I lost laughter and love. I no longer have the hope of having grandchildren," a family member read in court on behalf of the victim's grieving mother. Afterward, the defendant, 17-year-old Dante Wright, addressed the court saying, "I just want to tell y'all I'll be home soon. I love my family." Wright's attitude didn't sit well with the judge, who asked the prosecutors if the sentencing agreement was too lenient. "Watching you sit there, smile, laugh, shake your head like this was no big deal, I'm very tempted to just say, I'm not going to accept this sentencing agreement and we'll go to trial. And if you're convicted of felony murder, you'll go to prison for the rest of your life. That means you'll die there. That's what I'm tempted to do," said.
This judge is angry. He is, and rightfully so. How could you be so heartless? Like, laughing as the victim impact statement is getting read, you evil fucker.
22nd Circuit Court Judge David Swartz. During a brief recess, the family reportedly asked that the case not go to trial because they wanted to move forward. Wright's lawyer apologized on behalf of the teen after the break, saying he suffers from emotional issues and that some people display fear by smiling. Wright was sentenced to 23 to 50 years in prison for Klee's murder. Back at a hearing in June, Wright admitted that he and 2 other friends were trying to rob 18-year-old Jordan Klee when he shot and killed him in October. Let's watch the sentencing.
The only thing I would say, Your Honor, is that if the court is intending to follow the plea agreement, then I don't really have anything for it. My client wants to address the court, but I don't. Of course.
I just want to tell y'all, I'll be home soon. R.I.P. Keon. I love my family.
He has some emotional problems, and frankly was scared. And some people display fear by smiling.
Number 1. Cyrus Matthews. A 19-year-old man walked out of court after being sentenced and led police on a chase before crashing in Wadsworth, police said. Authorities said Cyrus Matthews, 19, appeared in Wadsworth Municipal Court and was sentenced to 90 days in jail, but the judge suspended 30 of the days. He was found guilty of criminal damaging and reckless operation stemming from a road rage case. Matthews allegedly told authorities he was not going to jail and fled the courthouse shortly after Judge Stephen McIlvaine read the sentence. Matthews got in the driver's seat of a vehicle outside the Wadsworth City Hall on Maple Street, according to police. A woman in the passenger seat was known to Matthews. Police said Matthews took off at high speeds, an estimated 80 to 90 miles per hour, and police only caught up after the car slammed into an SUV on State Route 261 near I-76. 3 people inside the SUV, including a baby, were transported to Summa Wadsworth Rittman Medical Center, but their injuries are not considered life-threatening, according to state troopers who are investigating the crash. Matthews and his female passenger were trapped and had to be rescued from the wreckage. Both of them were taken to an Akron hospital. Felony escape and fleeing and eluding charges are expected to be filed against Matthews.
I'm sorry for, acting immature on the road. I understand that, being on the road, you have other people's lives in your hand. And, I should have thought about that. Is there, any way that we can reverse this jail time?
Reverse.
Have him charged with escape, felony escape, if he doesn't get back in the...
He was sentenced to jail and took off.
The audacity, asking for them to reverse the jail time. You stupid idiot.
He was in an older gray four-door vehicle.
Passing on the right at Williams Reserve. My speed's 90, trying to catch up. I have a code 2 at Akron, 76. Help them get out! Help them get out! He's up here! Full squad.
I need help, sir.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
That's all for this video, folks.
Now.
See you another time.
Oh, wild. Just wild. Some people just don't have consciences. Don't have, that voice in your head that says, don't do this. That's wrong. So you got your girlfriend to match a guy, tell him to meet her somewhere just so you could rob him and shoot him, leave him for dead. It's just that level of barbaricness. It's just, get a job. If you want to make some money, get a job. And the guy at the end who's dangerously driving gets taken to court and has the gall to ask the judge, to reduce the jail time just because he gave a measly apology. An apology that he only gave because he's in court. People are just I feel like people are either stupider or they just are a lot more entitled. Maybe it's both. It's just crazy. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.